What is going on, Babylonians? It's me, Songs of Rage, back with another Outriders World Slayer video to be able to bring to you, and today we're going to be looking over Apocalypse tiers and what these actually mean for you when it comes to the actual game of World Slayer and Outriders, and basically how this kind of does away with world tiers and all that kind of good stuff. So before we get any further into it, make sure you drop a like and a subscribe. It really does help the channel out, and make sure that we are your one-stop shop for everything that you want to know about Outriders World Slayer. So let's get cracking right into it. So when it came to Apocalypse tiers, I managed to actually get screen grabs for 3 of the tiers, so tier 1, tier 3 and tier 5, to be able to show you what this scaling actually means. Now, from what I can tell, I believe it goes all the way up to 12. It may actually go a little bit higher than that, but the screenshot on the grab that I was actually given access to only went up to 12. But every single one of these work exactly the same as world tier, so basically every single time you bump it up, it increases it in difficulty, enemies go up in level, enemies come there, start hitting harder, have more HP, but you'll actually see more gains when it comes to XP. You'll also see more gains when it comes to the loot that gets dropped, etc, etc. So there's some overall some interesting things that are going to be there. So obviously this is stuff that we've already dealt with before when it comes to world tier. Now this changes slightly when it comes to other kind of like modifiers. So for example, at tier 1, our loot, for standard, our loot rarity bonus comes in at 225%, our enemy HP comes in at 125%, enemy damage is 105%, enemy level is set at 1, so I believe this is 1 higher than what you currently would be, and then item level bonus is also set at level 1. So overall, this will be the easiest difficulty to be able to actually start making your way through World Slayer, but obviously these start ramping up higher depending on how, like, obviously what level you actually manage to make it to. So for example, if we go to level 3, which was the other one I had access to, the loot jumps up by 50% to 275% bonus. So I can only imagine that it's going to be a 25% scaler that's going to be between levels. Like I said, I didn't have access to tier 2 or tier 4, but I do have access to tier 1, 3 and 5 to be able to have a look at like what's the average that we're actually going to start seeing when it comes to increases in our levels. So the loot modifier came in at 275%, the enemy HP came in at 140%, the enemy damage bumped up to all the way to 110%, the enemy level was bumped all the way up to 4, and the same with the item level as well. And then we had an added multiplier, which is Ascension bonus of 135%. So basically, the higher you actually get your levels, the more you're going to earn Ascension XP, and the faster you're going to be able to level yourself, to be able to grab all those Ascension points, to be able to start leveling your character even stronger than ever before. If we then have a quick look into level 5, so level 5, the loot rarity went up another 50% between the two levels to go up to 325%. The enemy HP is now at a massive 160%. The enemy damage goes all the way up an extra 1.5% to 111.5%. The enemy level is now at 7, the item level is also at 7, and the Ascension bonus has now gone up to 182%. So I believe there is actually kind of like a bigger gap that's going to be happening between Ascension XP, depending on which level you're going to be. So that obviously the higher level that you're going to be at, the more XP you're going to be able to gain, the faster you're going to be able to level through those Ascension levels. Now, there was one thing that actually grabbed my attention when I got to tier 5 and noticed that there was a different multiplier, or there's a couple new ones there, which is status power penalty. And then we've also got a revive speed duration. So this kind of hints to me that we're actually going to start seeing negative things applied to us. So if we take away like the enemy level, we take away the enemy HP and all the damage and all that kind of thing. So obviously we've already made it more difficult for ourselves by including all these enemies that are able to hit harder and be able to last longer. But we now have the ability to be able to like reduce our status power, which is not a massive thing in itself, because status power, they're normally kind of like small dots or damage over time that you're actually going to place on enemies, so I don't think that's going to hinder too much. And we've also got the revive speed duration, which makes me think that we're actually going to have longer revives when we're in and out of battle. So I'm interested to see how that's actually going to play into it. I don't think these are going to impact like most engagements too much. But maybe it will do, depending on obviously the content that we're actually going to be doing. So if it's like a continuously long fight and someone's gone down, they've used their revive, do they have to? Well, are we actually going to be forced to be able to in the battlefield itself to be able to try and revive our teammates and be able to get them up from there? It'll be interesting to see what this multiplier actually clocks in at. I can't imagine they're going to make us stand there for a solid minute holding down the revive button to be able to pick people up. But I imagine they'll add like a couple of seconds, maybe even double the duration to a certain point. And the same with the status power. I can't imagine they're just going to make sure that we can't inflict status, but it might reduce it by, I don't know, maybe up to like 75, 90%, all that kind of thing, to be able to, so you're constantly having to be able to reapply it, to be able to get the bonuses that most of your gear sets actually benefit from. So overall, I like what they're doing with the Apocalypse tiers. It definitely seems to be a bit more engaging compared to what the World tiers actually do. I can only imagine we're going to see some rewards as well as we level up through those tiers, but unfortunately I can't confirm that just at this moment in time. But overall, I hope you found some of this useful. I hope you found some of this educational. If you did, make sure you drop a like and a subscribe. It really does help the channel out. And that just leaves me to say thank you so much for making your way to the end of this video. Thank you all to the Babylonian family, as always, for their continued support. And keep yourselves safe, keep yourselves well, and I'll see you all on our next video.